Good evening, I'm Yuli and welcome to today's global news summary. Focuses on extreme weather event that will shake the world in 2024. Strong wildfire struck and record temperature better the global in 2024. This were some of the most extreme world events to impact people around the world over the past years. The first in North America. The Atlantic horizon season started early external and with a record-breaking bang. At the end of June, barely became the first major hurricane of the 2024 season. It swept struck the Caribbean before making landfall on the Gulf Coast of the U.S. It was the earliest Category 5 hurricane to form in recorded history. Early September is the usual peak of the Atlantic hurricane season, but was usually quiet in 2024. However, later that month, Hurricane Helen hits the Florida coast as a major Category 5 storm using wet force and flooding and wind damage to the southeast. According to preliminary data from the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, it was the deadliest hurricane to affect the continental last since Hurricane Katrina in 2005 and led to more than 150 deaths. Helen was the first of six storms to develop in quick sessions. This culminated with Hurricane Milton, which formed in the Gulf of Mexico in the early October and demonstrated one of the most extreme examples of rapid storm. Intensification on record saying its wind spans increased by a massive 145 km per hour in 24 hours. At the beginning of December, a state of emergency was declared in New York State as first snowfall of the season arrived. Like the effect now blends storm across the state of New York. Lavinia and Miss Crime at the time of busy holiday travel with more than 186 meter falling to the edge of the lake unshared. Next, in South America. In early May days of heavy rain brought several flooding and multitudes to Rio Grande do Sul in southern Brazil leading to the collapse of the Henriques Canal dams. Almost half the average annual rainfall for the area fell in just over a week. However, in other parts of Brazil, the story was very different. The country endured its worst drought since record began, affecting almost 600 of the countries. In September, authorities said water level of the Paraguay's rivers, which feeds the Pantal, the world's largest tropical wetland, fell to their lowest point in 120 years. Record-breaking weather also raged across the continent, but as October came to its close, dark clouds finally began to bring rain to the Amazon, ending a 2 year drought. The next in Europe. Despite the UK having its cold summer since 2015, much of Europe experienced a hotter than average seasons. Australia had its warmest summers and Spain had its warmest record in August. Finally, it joined farmers in Switzerland's second warmest. In September, firefighters in Portugal took 100 wildfires in the north of the country sparked by the hot and dry conditions. While this fires region, strong bursts brought wetfalls flooding to Central Europe. The following month, a Dana weather event saw broadcast tropic flooding to extreme Spain. A year's worth of rain fell in just 8 hours in the monsoon near Valencia and its speed down into the city and caused extensive damage and led to the death of down 200 people. Next, in America and the Middle East. In April, the United Arab Emirates also received almost a year's rainfall. This time in 24 hours. Radar were set more in Dubai. At least one metro station was ankle deep in water, and flaggers from the international airport were grounded. At the same time, a deadly heatwave took hold across with every and south regions of the countries, which scientific said would have been impossible with human-inspired climate change. Navy describing a state of emergency in May as the country grappled with its worst top in the country. The government planned to kill wild animals, described mean to these people who had no food. It was one of several countries across Central Africa strongly with destroying different by El Nino. By contrast, later in the years, seasonal rains across Africa were displayed much further north, bringing flooding to the Sahara for the first time in half of country. Next, in Asia, a safe heat affects many parts of Asia in April and May. India read ultra temperature of 47 Celsius, coincided with the general election when many people quit and outside to vote. According to World Weather Attributes, external climate change played a significant role, making a headwind with such extreme temperature in 45 times more likely. Typhoon Yagi combined with season monsoons rains in September to trigger catastrophic floods and landslides apart across Southeast Asia, leaving more than 1,500 people dead. But in once the Philippines, that bore the brunt of typical activity in the Pacific in 2024. They included tropical storm Tremi and Typhoon Kongri, which brought deadly flooding and landslide to Luzon in late October. Japan had its joint hottest summer on record in 2024. Unusually warm weather means Mount Fuji was still without snow at the end of October. It is the later time in the years the mountain has remained unscathed since car records began 130 years ago. Next, in Australasia. Several weather in Australasia did not seem to be on the same scale in 2024 as other parts of the world. First, because El Nino weakened and despite at the start of the year. Nearly 500,000 homes were left without power in the Australia state and Victoria after storm in February. The wild condition also hampered ever to fight Mansfield, westward in the west of the regions. August 2024 was the warm on the record in Australia by a higher 3 Celsius. Albeit a colder winter followed later in the years with Canberra Airport and Adelaide both experiencing the lowest spring temperature on record. While in New Zealand, weather 2024 was better warms. So that's all for today's news upload. Thanks you're joining us and remember to look for the positive stories in your day-to-day life. Have a wonderful and good evening.